it's meeting all the requirements to get the scholarship from UTP. So if the kid makes the correct choices, he will end up with a scholarship. It's the same for obtaining the Texas Scholar, that it's in fact another grant, right? The Texas grant. So this is the best route to get our kids to college. Unfortunately, what happens? Only 15% of our native Spanish-speaking kids, 28% of our native English-speaking kids versus 92%, 46%. And now, you're going to see that we have a new model. We have changed things, and now we have generated this as, how should I say, the program is now structured that all our kids, by design, are going to graduate as DAP. Because we're not giving them any option. We're going to talk about it. Of course, we don't want kids to graduate with minimum requirements, so none of our students graduate with minimum requirements. Our weighted grade point average is much greater. Ranking, of course, our dual language kids are in the top ranking most of the time. Top 10%, we have an over-representation in top 10%. And then, finally going to college. There are two best indicators of college readiness. That's the advanced placement test. To understand what is the advanced placement, it's a test that a student can take. A student can take a course in high school in a variety of content areas. At the end, they will take a test, and if they pass that test with a 3 or more, the score is from 1 to 5. If they pass that test with a 3 or more, they get credit for that class in college. So if I take biology AP in high school, and I pass that test, I don't have to take biology in college. I already passed it. Okay? So, according to the Department of Education, the AP program is the most reliable program, the most reliable indicator of academic readiness. When a student participates in AP, he's already experiencing college, and he's getting confidence to go to college. What is the average, national average rate of participation in AP? 17%. Okay? For Hispanics, 11%. 100% of our dual language kids took an AP test during their 4-year high school education. 100%. Now, of course, what's happening here? It's called cheating. Yes, we're cheating. Why I say we're cheating? Because the students don't have an option. You see, when a kid goes to college, to high school, and they're enrolling to 9th grade, the counselor will tell your kid, okay, you have to take biology. ¿Cuál quieres llevar, mijito? You can take biology CP, biology pre-AP, and biology AP. And of course, what's going to be the question the kid is going to do? Which one's harder? Or which one's easier? Well, AP is harder. Okay, I don't want to be an AP. Correct? That's why a lot of the kids take the other ones. Because they go by the fact of which one's harder. What happens with us? Spanish. In high school, you can take Spanish, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, or you can take Spanish 2 AP. And of course, what happens? A lot of kids decide just to go for the Spanish. Dual language, you don't have an option. All the kids in dual language have to take Spanish 2 AP. And it's up to the point that it's not delivered in high school. When it's delivered, Ms. Longoria? 8th grade. So what's happening here? Ms. Longoria's students, I think if I know something like 80 students. This year, they took Spanish 2 AP. They took that test, and hopefully, a very large percentage of those students will go to high school. They're not even there yet, right? They're still middle school kids, and they will already have college credits in their pocket. And now, what's the beauty of the Spanish test? If you take biology AP, you don't have to take biology 1301. If you take chemistry AP, you don't have to take chemistry 1301. If you take Spanish AP and pass it with a 5, you don't have to take Spanish 1301, 1302, 1303, and 1304. It counts for 4 courses of Spanish. That means that your kid is going to go to college already with 1 full semester of college in their pocket. And what's going to happen when they hit high school? They will go into Spanish 3 AP, and that's a different test. That's a literature test, and we're going to prepare them for 2 years for that test, Spanish 3 and Spanish 4 AP. And that kid is going to present that test, and if that kid passes that test again with a 4 and or a 5, he's going to get 6 more credit hours, and that's a minor in Spanish. So your kid is going to be leaving high school with that minor in Spanish already in their pocket. Okay? Now what happens when a kid, and you mentioned it, what happens when a kid takes the AP test?
Continue?
Regrésale, me pasé. Ahí.
No, ya.
2 más. Perdón.
2 más.
1. Ahí. No, para adelante, para adelante.
Para adelante.
I'm sorry.
¿Más? ¿Otro?
Otro. Ahí. ¿Qué pasa cuando, what happens when the student takes the AP test? He becomes bold. He becomes really confident in himself, and he's going to be like taking students other than Spanish. Okay? And see the differences. 37 versus 10%, 44 versus 10. You're going to see a big difference between this graph and this one. And that difference has a name, Dr. King. When Dr. King came on board, he said, I want all the kids taking AP courses and taking AP tests. So that's why our numbers bumped up here. Okay? So, what's going to happen is that your kids are going to gain confidence. And the same happens with the ACT test. Otro. Ahí. The ACT test is a test of choice to go to college for the district. Our students, all our high school students, we paid the test for them twice. So they can take that test 2 times without any cost for them. They need to pass that test to go to college. And unfortunately, what happens? Not all the students are taking that test, even that it's paid for them. Why? And the only answer, the only explanation is because by then, they don't feel confident to go to college. College is no longer in their plans. Okay? See what happens with our dual language kids. All of them. 98%, 98.5% of our students, our dual language students, enroll in college immediately after graduation. Okay? The national average is 37%. Okay? So that's the difference. That's what can happen in your school district if you implement a K-12 dual language program. Okay? So, Ms. Longoria, can we visit some of your classes?